So, hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mindful Conversations. I have another guest with me today, and we're just going to talk about his journey and his healing in creativity. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name's Kharis. I'm an artist from South London. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about your music?
So I think my music is very. Um, it sounds similar to a lot of things that you've heard, but there's like certain nuances and twists in it, which is just weird and just new. So I think I would say it's very familiar, but also very like you don't know where you've heard it from. Sort of deja vu, I would say.
Mm. And can you tell me a bit more about like your journey into music
Mm.
and what kind of like ignited that passion and um just take me piece by piece like your journey.
I started obviously in school. Everyone did English literature and English language, and I really like doing poetry. So yeah, I think back in school I started to take to English poetry. That was my thing. And then I used to always listen to like electronic like music, like future bass. Didn't really like rap and stuff. I just thought it was very. I was a weird kid back then. I thought it was like, oh, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to hear like bitch this and bitch that and drugs this and drugs that. Obviously now, you know what I mean, like it's kind of crazy. I'd be saying that shit in my music, but life has a way
Full
of, you know what I
circle.
mean. But yeah, I started with poetry, and then I started listening to Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Obviously, like as a kid, I think them two really like spurred my mind into like the possibilities of what a song could be and like what you can talk about on a song and make it still sound like cool and relevant. So I guess I just took poetry and just sped it up.
Okay, and are there any like poets that stand out to you that you've
Mm.
taken inspiration from?
There's a really niche poet called Milo Years something, I don't know, but he wrote a book called The Poems for the Utopian Nihilist, and I think that was a really like pivotal moment in just me being a poet and like being an artist, because the way he conceptualizes his ideas and his memories and what he wants to tell the reader is like the imagery is so vivid, and I feel like I've
Mm,
taken a lot of that and put it into my own music. Like I feel like I build like a whole universe around a song, which yeah, I really appreciate, I guess.
nice, nice. And what kind of universes have you built for yourself in your music?
Oh, that's a
Like,
good question.
yeah.
That's a hard question, to be fair, because like obviously every artist goes through their own emotions. I feel like a lot of the songs that I have are just almost like records of me getting out whatever emotion I had to at the time. Um, like Passings of Friends, I made a lot of songs like talking about that. I've made a lot of songs about like old relationships and situationships and whatnot, and just like daily life and struggles, like also the joy of life and growing up and having like good friends and going to a school and what that whole experience was like. I just think my music is very. It's almost like I'm a clone, or my music is a clone of me, and I'm just talking to myself, sort of.
Okay, nice. That's a nice
Yeah,
analogy.
yeah.
So do you like, in terms of like, using music as like an outlet
Mm.
for what you're going through, do you use it to heal?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess I would say that. I guess it's like two parts. Like one is like I've already gone through like the whole healing phase, and now it's just me basically like expressing how that was and how I've come out of it, and then also being in it and using that as a medium to get out. I think it just depends on where you are in life and what your emotional like state is.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say is like your emotional state right now?
My emotional state right now, also a very good question. Um, I'm in a weird state of my life where it's like everything I've been working towards is like right there, but I'm still also like facing the struggles that I faced when I started, but I've just become very like better at handling them and like working towards what I'm trying to get to. I think my emotional state right now is like I'm very grateful, I'm very content, but I'm also still very eager, and I'm very like I'm hungry to like do the shit that I want to do, like music
Mm.
and like all my other endeavors. Um, yeah, that's a good question. That like my emotional state is like it fluctuates like every day, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And you were talking about how everything's right there for you now.
Mm.
Like, do you have any people in your life that help you navigate through, like, what opportunities to take,
Hmm.
what to pass up on, what to learn from? Like, how do you have anyone that like kind of guides you in that kind of direction, or do you do it yourself?
First of all, I'm gonna say God slash the universe or whatever you want to believe it. I'd say that's number one. I'm not really too religious. I don't really practice like a certain set religion, but just like how I live my life and just going about my daily days, like I just see things that like couldn't be a sign or something for anyone else but me, and that just lets me know that okay, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right things. Aside from that, it's obviously the family, friends, like my two boys as well, Johannes and Harry. Them two really keep me tapped in, and family as well is a big one. Definitely my mum, my brothers, my sisters. Like,
Do you know what's mad? Nearly everyone I've spoken to has said something about God.
so hey man,
Yeah,
it's touching.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting. I feel like we have like a new kind of spiritual wave coming about now. Like, even if people aren't particularly like religious,
Yeah,
there's like this kind of like sense of spiritualism and connection with like a higher power
yeah,
and the
yeah.
universe, and realizing like what is right for you will come.
100%.
Yeah, so it's really interesting that everyone has said that.
100%.
Yeah. So tell me a bit more about like growing up. Like, did you have any like particular role models that you looked up to creatively that you kind of like not emulate but take parts from to do your thing?
Yeah, I'd say Michael Jackson. That's always been like one of my top role models like throughout. I don't really like, not that I don't respect many artists, but I won't ever give another artist as much grace as I give Michael Jackson, just because what he's done for like just the culture and just growing up, and that's his own thing. But I'm a bit weird. I think like my idols and my like aspirations usually, it's gonna sound mad, usually come from like anime.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah,
That's
man.
cool.
No, he got some cool motherfuckers over there, and like Naruto was a big one for me. Like growing up, just seeing like him going through his life, obviously bullied and going through like normal struggles that kids go through, but just seeing how he got out of it and like the will to continue striving to what you want to achieve, I thought was really like impactful for me as a kid. And then like other animes as well, but I think like Naruto and a couple others was definitely key.
Okay, I wish I knew more about anime so I could ask you more questions.
It's alright,
But
there's always time to watch. It's time to learn.
I'm a bit of a novice there. But you can give me some recommendations.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a bit more about your music and your lyrics. So, what's your process? Do you write before you get into the studio and before you make beats, or do you make a beat and then you just like write over the beat, or like how do you do it? Because you said you're a poet first, right?
Yeah, I would say. Well, I produce as well. I produce all my beats. I produce all my music. So it's like if I'm not writing, then I'm producing. If I'm not producing, I'm writing. So I guess it just kind of comes whenever it comes. Like if I'm writing a verse, then I might write a beat, and then like the song might match the verse. Like the last song I just dropped called Black, I wrote the like the chorus before I made the beat, and then I made the beat, and then like everything just made sense. But there's been other times where like I'll literally make the beat and boom, song's done in 20 minutes because just everything's flowing. Just depends on how it flows.
And do you tend to feel like your music is better when you're in a flow state, or do you feel like it's better when it's structured?
I feel like I feel like I feel better about the music I make when I'm in a flow state. But what I've noticed is I used to think that when I'm in a flow state and I can just write without stopping, that like that's the best like songs that I've made. But there've been times where I don't know, like I'm not getting any sort of words or anything in my head, and then I'll just jump on and then punch in on the microphone, and then it's like one of the best songs. Like all my guys are saying, "Oh, this song's hard. This song's better than that and that," and I'm just like, really? Like I just spent like 6 months on that song, and you're saying this 20-minute song is better than, it's crazy. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Everyone has their own tastes.
it's strange like how other people's perspectives
Mm.
can change your own perspective of your
Yeah.
music, because like what you might find like really hits, other people might take parts of your music and think that that's even better, but you might have thought that was a bit sketchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, like art is subjective, right?
Yeah,
Like everyone
100%.
has their own kind of opinions of it.
100%.
Yeah, cool. Do you feel like your culture has played a part in like your journey creatively?
Good question. That's a tough one. I'm not really sure. Maybe because I make my own music, I can't really tell like what someone would think the culture I've grown up with is based on what they've heard from me. But like I've lived everywhere. Like growing up, I was living in Spain, living in like Cameroon, living like all across the world. So I don't feel like I've like been stapled to a set culture because I've experienced so many like growing up and
Okay.
things. So that's why I couldn't tell you if my culture is like UK culture or like, do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's me. Someone would have to tell me.
That's interesting. How did you like navigate moving to so many different places
Um,
at such a young age as well?
yeah, it was. I don't think it was tough because we left the UK to live in Spain when I was like 5 years old. So obviously being a 5-year-old, I just felt like I was going on holiday, and then obviously every year, every 2 years, we're moving. So it just felt like normal. But I feel like nowadays, if that sort of thing was to happen, like me moving around, maybe I'd feel a bit displaced, maybe.
Yeah, because like when you're younger, you kind of just go with it, right?
Yeah,
Like when you're a kid, you just go with whatever your parents are doing. Like,
yeah,
but like when you're older, it's more of a
it's different.
challenge, and like you become more set. Like
Yeah,
you have your own like friendships, relationships, and then you become more set in your space.
yeah,
So then moving then is difficult.
100%.
Um, but yeah, do you feel like that's shaped you, like in terms of your creativity, like the fact that you've experienced so many different
Mm.
things?
Yes, 100%. Like I see a lot of people that make music in like the underground space or whatever you call it, that I like surround myself with, and to me it feels like they're part of like something, and it's like everyone understands what that thing is. I understand what that thing is, but don't really feel like I'm part of that thing. And that just goes back to like the whole like not feeling like I'm 100% set in the UK culture. I just feel like, I don't know. It just feels like it just feels like my thing is very outside of what everyone is. Do you know what I mean? Like what they're not, what they're on, I guess you could say. Yeah, I really felt like sometimes like if the UK is like your home, like UK underground is a home. I didn't feel like I had a home. I feel like I was everywhere. I felt like a gypsy almost. If
Like
that
a
makes any
nomad.
sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's constantly traveling, which I guess is a good thing because you can experience a lot, but it's kind of hard to cement yourself around people that also like have been through that, because I don't know, just like people gravitate to community, but when you haven't felt like you're part of a community, it's hard to like find people that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can relate to that in a sense.
Mm.
Like, I feel like my family, they're both like, so my mum and dad both immigrated here.
Mm.
My dad's from Ireland and my mum's from Uganda, but she's Indian. And I was born here, but I've never like truly felt British.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, because at home we speak Gujarati,
Uh-huh.
like we speak a completely different language. So I've never fully felt
Like you're part
like
of.
I'm part of one
Yeah,
or another thing. And then
exactly.
being mixed race as well, like
Yeah,
I don't know where I'm
where you lie
at.
between the lines are blurred.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very weird, I
yeah. But
think.
it's interesting. Like I feel like there's um there's a sense of belonging within yourself,
Yeah,
like knowing your identity and like what you've been through and your story, and there's like a sense of belonging within that and like a sense of comfort in that. Like no one's gonna have your
yeah,
experiences, right?
100%.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah. When you write, because you spoke about imagery before,
Mm.
when you write, do you kind of have visuals in your mind of what you're trying to represent, or is it like you just put it
Straight.
onto, yeah,
It used to be just like straight, whatever comes to my mind, I'm writing down, and if it makes sense, it makes sense.
yeah,
But like times when I have writer's block, it's kind of hard to do that. So I've had to like force myself to like visualize like what I'm trying to write, or like what I'm trying to, do you know what I mean, see when I'm spitting. A good thing I do is like when I'm writing lyrics, I'll write the lyrics, but I'll imagine myself performing it to a crowd, and then that just like cuts out all like the, I don't know how to describe it, but it just makes it like much more easier for me to write when I can just picture what I'm, or who I'm trying to say that to. Do you know
you
what I
can
mean?
picture your audience kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Okay, okay. And also, like with that, like picturing your audience and like picturing performing and stuff and writer's block, like do you try to like release stuff to a schedule to keep your fans like up to date and stuff,
Yeah.
or do you like go by your own timing?
That's a good question, because I've literally like just been through that. So start of the year, I had a whole like 6-month plan to like continuous drops. Dropped one song really sick, dropped second song really sick. But then like me and my team were just thinking like, do we have 6 songs, right? And none of them, they all sort of sound a similar sound, because obviously I've made everything, so it sounds in a similar set sound. But they don't really like, they don't really sound the same as well. So do we drop one song and then cater to that song if it does well, that sort of genre, that sort of sound, or do we just stick with the plan? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still deciding. I'm having to like replan my plan just to like account for this, so I don't miss any future drops. Luckily, I didn't miss this month, but yeah, I guess it just depends on like what I'm trying to do. Like if I'm just trying to release songs, I would just release songs. But if I'm trying to build a fan base, which I am, then I would sort of tailor like each song to like people's interests and the response I'm receiving from previous. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you feel like that's a bit of pressure though? Because like, do you feel like your art is always authentic if you're trying to you know like please a certain group of people? Because I feel that about some artists, yeah. Like sometimes when I listen to Drake, like don't get me wrong, Drake's amazing, but there was times where he was just dropping stuff constantly,
Yeah,
and then it was just like for the sake of dropping stuff, and I was
yeah.
just like, it's like every like few months you're
So
dropping an
Drake,
album, like,
yeah.
and then you're being lazy with it, like, do you know what I mean? So like, how do you balance that you know there's an audience there that you can potentially monetize off of, but how do you remain authentic?
Good one. I think it depends on like how you've built your audience, because like a lot of artists that build their audience from the ground up, when they was doing that, they've obviously explored different sounds, and their audience kind of knows the like the threshold, the boundaries of where they could go. But like if I just drop a song and it blows 1 million streams and then I've got like 100k fans, they're only gonna expect that one song from me because they've only had that one sound. So I would say it just depends on like how you've actually attained your audience. That's what I think. And like, I think like the organic route, brick by brick, like follow by follow, is definitely the best route. Just gives you more freedom.
And I guess if you're dropping something anyway, like the first thing you're going to drop is going to be authentic anyway.
Yeah,
So if something's similar to that, it's going to
still be
sit
of.
in a level of
Yeah,
authenticity.
exactly.
So yeah. Okay, cool. Um, what would you say your biggest challenge has been creatively? And do you have any like sort of like regrets or things that you wish you'd done differently?
I think my biggest challenge creatively just be not being consistent, just like letting life get in the way. I find it really easy to manage like life, but then when like big things happen in life, I find it really hard to manage that because my mind is just elsewhere, and I'm really good. I'm really really good at focusing on one thing, but then like when I have to like divert like X, Y, and Z, 2, 3, 4, forget about it. I just say fuck everything. So I feel like definitely being consistent. I feel like if I did that, then I would just be like way more like my main like goal in music is just to build a community. And I feel like I would have, obviously I've got community, but I feel like I would have had something that I like wanted to get to by now. But things happen for a reason. To answer your second part, I think that if I was to regret anything that I've been through, it would be a discredit to everything that I've been through. Do
Okay,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
no, I understand that.
Because even though like those times were hard, and like at the time I was like, fuck, like why haven't I posted? Why haven't I not made a song? It just builds character, and I've survived those days where I thought that I didn't want to. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if I was to regret anything, it'd be a disservice to like all the hard work I've done before. So I
Yeah.
try not to regret anything in life.
And you just have to keep going as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like, you just have to keep striving. And I think with all creatives, like, especially creatives that are like up and coming or
Yeah.
trying to make it, like, there's that level of consistency that we all kind of are like thinking, why can't we do more?
Yeah.
Why can't we do more? But we have to be authentic, and we have to, like, creativity is a process, and it only happens when you feel something. So you have to start living and feeling
Yeah.
something to be able to write something, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny because like life can get in the way, but then you can write about the life that got in the way.
Yeah, facts. That's good.
Do you know what I mean?
I never used to do that. I just used to like be in the studio. Oh, I can't think of nothing to write. Fuck it. Like, let me just go and look up YouTube 10 tips how to write better songs, and then still not be able to write anything, rather than just going to live life.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
you can't force it. And
Yeah.
that's like one thing, like Amy Winehouse is one of like the big artists that I really look up to, and is one of my inspirations. And she said something like, yeah, like I need to just live my life. I live my songs.
Yeah.
I
Sick.
live my songs. So she needed to fall in love. She needed to do all of that in order to write. So
It's powerful, man.
yeah.
Shout out Amy.
I wonder what she'd be like if she was alive now. Like,
That's true, man.
what kind of music she'd bring out. But yeah, tell me about like your qualities and your strengths that assist you in your creative practice, and what kind of opportunities you've made for yourself.
In my creative practices, I would say that I'm very good at not thinking inside the box. I'm very good at just doing what I want, but packaging it in a way that can, like, let's say for songs, can compete with like industry standard. I think I'm also very good at, like I said, just like zeroing down on one thing. Like, I'm obsessive when I want to do something, or like when I like something, I'm obsessive as fuck. And that it's helped me so far, but at times it has like been my detriment. Like, I've been put in hospital sometimes because I've just been in the studio like 24/7, not eating or sleeping, just working.
Oh gosh.
But I also think I'm very like, I'm very open, I'm very like receptive, and I can talk to anyone. And I feel like that's really like one of the biggest skills you can have in the whole creative space, because like your network is your net worth. So if you can't talk to people, then I don't think you'd be able to go far in this industry. You know what I mean? What was the second part of your question?
I've forgotten now.
Yeah, me too. That's calm.
Should we move on to another question?
Yeah.
What do you do like to take care of yourself? Because you're saying like you can sometimes be like obsessive with your art, right?
Yeah.
To a point where you don't eat or sleep and you just live your art, right?
Yeah.
Well, what do you do to like self-care and take care of yourself and like be able to like rejuvenate, recharge, so that you can like be your 100%?
What can I do? I'm really into self-improvement. So like mindset, gym, like healthy eating, like reading books and stuff. I feel like all of that is good for the soul. And I feel like if your mental and your soul is like at an equilibrium, or like just in a good space, then your body will naturally follow. Yeah, I guess I'd say. Why for that, by the way? Why for that? But yeah, I'd say. I was thinking like, is he gonna cut this out? Oh, fuck, let me just stop speaking. Why for that? Why for that? Why for that? Nah, but like, you know what I mean? Like matcha I recently had the other day. That shit tastes disgusting.
It does
but it's
taste
good
mad.
for you.
It tastes mad.
Nah, that's the thing. I don't eat
mad.
sugar. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, even reading as well, that shit is. I've read a book for the first time in like 5 years last month. That shit was hard and it was long, but I enjoyed it.
What did you read?
It was a book called How to Lose Her. It's about like some Spanish kid like just basically fucking around and cheating on all his girlfriends and then ending up with no family or no like his peak. But it was a really sick read, really really sick. But yeah, man, anything that's gonna make me better, like I don't give a shit. Like I don't give a shit.
All right, I think we're going to wrap it up now. So thank you so much for coming on, and let people know like what your Insta is and stuff.
My Insta is Kharis, KHXRIS, and that's all my social handles. And you can find me on Spotify at Kharis. But yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Appreciate it.